It is crunch time, though, here on The Jump, gentlemen. Speaking of families inside the bubble, here's Denver coach Mike Malone from Friday. Take a listen.
Today's day 60. All right, so we have been here. The guys that came down here on July 7th, and there weren't many of us because we were ravaged with COVID. This, for the original crew, this is day number 60. And the reason I bring that up is because the players have their families here, which they deserve, which is the right thing to do. The referees are allowed to bring one guest, which is great for the referees. The coaches are not allowed to bring anybody. I say, shame on you, NBA. This is crazy. I miss my family, and I think I speak for me, I speak for my coaches, and probably all the coaches down here. 60 days and not having access and not being granted the privilege to have my family come here, to me, is criminal in nature, and that shouldn't be at all. So I wanted to get that off my chest.
Matt, what did you make of what Coach Malone had to say?
I think the bubble's been amazing. Hats off to the NBA for even allowing it and making it come true. But I think I agree with him. This is the one part that the bubble missed. There's not a reason that the NBA can tell him, me, any of us here, why coaches cannot have their families there. I think that's ridiculous. If players can have their families there, if refs can have a significant other there, for a coach not to be able to, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
He said the referees can have one person, but
crazy.
the head coaches can't have anyone. That doesn't even sound right to me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right. He's making the point about that. So, I mean, I don't know what the NBA is going to do going further, but
yeah,
he's absolutely right.
Yeah, look, to Matt's point, the NBA has done a fantastic job with the bubble and clearly a glaring oversight here with the coaches, there's no doubt. Next, Rockets general manager Daryl Morey was asked about his top priority this offseason. He told USA Today that it was re-signing Mike D'Antoni being probably #1 on his list. D'Antoni is currently on the final year of his contract. So, Paul, do you agree that it should be the top priority for the Rockets?
Yeah, I do agree, and I'll tell you why. You know, maybe for the short term, because of the way the roster is constructed. I mean, they traded all their big men. Yeah, they have Tyson Chandler, who's probably going to retire after this year or maybe two. But who else is going to coach a roster with all small guys and coach small ball and say, give the ball to Harden and go shoot threes? You know, most coaches that you're going to bring are going to have a new system, want big men, and I don't know how much they can do with this roster.
Yeah, I mean, is it the right move? Is it the first option? They haven't got over the hump. They haven't done what they – obviously, they ran into a dynasty with the Warriors, and now they're running into a hungry Laker championship contender. But they haven't taken that step that we all thought they would take with this type of ball. So is he the problem? Do they reconstruct their roster? I think they have a – if they don't end up winning, they got a low-key mess over there.
Let me ask you guys a quick question before we move on. And I love Daryl Morey. I think he's done a fantastic job. As you pointed out, Matt, they were one hamstring away from potentially going to the NBA Finals. But will he be around to make that decision?
Tough call. I mean, the analytics hit strong for a while, and now they're kind of coming back and asking human facts, which analytics don't provide. So his whole strategy of putting a team together, although it was revolutionary, I think they're somewhat going back to a little bit of, character and how can they handle each situations under pressure. So will he be there?
Well, this is the thing. If Daryl Morey's not there, then you know the coach. Then D'Antoni won't be there. Usually when you bring in a new GM, you want to bring in your own coach. So they both go hand in hand.
All right, let's move on. Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer said that Giannis continues to get treatment on his right ankle that he suffered in the second quarter of Game 4 Sunday. But he wouldn't make the call on whether he'll play in Tuesday's Game 5. That was Budenholzer today. He said the decision will ultimately come down to the training staff's evaluation and the collective decision of the organization. So, Paul, how should Milwaukee handle this injury given the fact that they're down 3-1?
I'm not so sure. Being that Milwaukee's a favorite, he's the MVP, and he feels the pressure. You know, to not be there as an MVP, to not be there for your team, knowing that you have this injury, but you can understand there could be a long-term effect to this. I think it has to be up to the player and the training staff. I think they have to come to a mutual agreement. They have to see some things that he's doing on the court. If he's very, very limited, then why take a chance on the long-range future of a possibly two-time MVP?
This is a tough situation. Obviously, down 3-1. You know he wants to be out there as a competitor. But then I bring up to someone in the past that we both played against, Grant Hill. And you don't want these lingering ankle injuries. You don't want to sprain this same ankle a third time and possibly have to have surgery, because once they go in, they're going to have to go back in. So as much as everyone, this is the MVP, we want to see him out there. Like Paul said, I think it's really up to Giannis, and we can move and handle what comes with the playoff game.
Coincidentally, I believe, if I recall correctly, Grant Hill hurt that ankle against Miami in a series back then as well. But let me ask you this, as far as Giannis is concerned and the organization and everything, considering that he may only be under contract for one more season, it's possible he doesn't sign an extension here this offseason. How does that factor in, Matt?
It doesn't. I think obviously they're going to max him in hoping and thinking he's coming back, but it's going to be up to Giannis. I don't see them getting out of this series. Is there a championship hope really there? I don't know. Does he jump ship? I think everything falls to Giannis. Obviously, Milwaukee would like to err on the side of caution and plan on him signing this long-term extension.
Well, I think Milwaukee, despite how this year is going to turn out, which they most likely not going to advance. If he doesn't sign an extension this summer, I don't panic. What they have to do is find out how I can get him more help to encourage him to do that.
Stay.
And so he could just be like, say, I'm not going to sign this year, but that doesn't push the panic button to trade him. Let's see how much more help we can get. If we can't, then we got to start a rebuild.
It's hard to get help there, too.
Yeah.
I think that's Milwaukee's small market. It's hard to get top free agents. So, I mean, does he want to jump to a bigger market and become a bigger star?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.